Here we are again. Oh man, the level of backlash that I got on that video yesterday is telling. And I'm actually glad that I have people in my life, whether I disagree with you politically or not, I'm glad that I have people that feel they can talk to me about their disagreement. So I wanted to say is for anybody that watched that video yesterday, I thank you. And I want you to know that I appreciate you, not because I want you to watch the video, but because if you watched it to the end and you disagree, it means that you, in a lot of ways, you stand on what you support and you're willing to defend it. Okay? That's where I think it gets a little crazy for me, but at least you're looking into why someone else would disagree with you. So, which means to me, reasonability and debate. All right, so we talked yesterday about the United States being founded on protest. Or debate is a form of protest. It's a reasoned way. We don't. We talked yesterday about the origins of the U.S. being protest turned violent. So debate is probably the more civil way to protest and finding a path forward that results in some sort of cohesiveness and unity. All right, so let's start with a couple things that I heard disagreeing with me. I think I've already addressed that. I know you guys disagree. I want everyone to have an opinion. I want you to defend that opinion with facts, all right? And not changing the subject. I'm not going into hypotheticals. I want you to tell me exactly why you feel the way you feel based on the way this administration has acted, all right? Next criticism. Why do I choose Trump to pick on, essentially? Or why am I choosing him now? All right, and it's a quick answer. It's a blatant disregard for consistent application of constitutional law. And that's at the very highest level, that's simply it. I think everything that I talked about in the video yesterday, I think there's a self-interest. There is a lack of maturity that man has. I think that there's a lack of ethics, I think, that he applies to his role as commander-in-chief that I don't think is suitable for that position. Next question, deportations. Why do you care so much about deportations? Obama did it. He deported more people in the history of the presidency. Okay, so I spoke very little about deportations yesterday. I think if you remember correctly, I said it 2 or 3 times, and I wasn't talking about the U.S. All right, we talked about immigration, yes, but there's a slight distinction there. All right, so let's get more into that. Why not call out Obama for deportations? Why am I good picking on Trump? In the last 35 years, have you ever seen political theater and a circus that is the immigration issue happening now? No. Fact. How many American citizens protested en masse to the degree that they are now during the Obama years? Not this many. Fact. How many American citizens were shot point blank by ICE agents during the Obama years? None that I know of. Deportations as a consequence of being here illegally, I understand. I get it. I think that even the people that snuck across the border, they understand that. They understand the risk, all right? How that is done is crucial to the conversation here. How that is being done is crucial to the Bill of Rights and to who we are as Americans, right? How America has been turned against minorities, primarily Latinos, seems familiar. And this is where I don't know if I'm going to lose a lot of people, but I need you guys to really tune in here to what I'm about to say. This is consistent with the way African Americans were treated for the most of America's history. And I'm going to flash a graphic here. You can't tell me you don't see the danger of regression, the danger and the regression here, right? Look at this. Just look at it. I talked about this yesterday. 1608, Jamestown is founded. 1619, slavery starts. For 200 years, that proceeded, right? It wasn't until about 1954 that black people had rights, and we are where we are today as a result of people protesting, right? This is what we are capable of if we don't pay attention to the effect of various policies that a given administration has in place, all right? Not convinced? Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Let's go further. Why do we have an alternate Super Bowl halftime show? I mean, really, like, be honest, be brutally honest. And Bad Bunny, oh, his English isn't good. He doesn't look like me. He's not American. The problem is that man is an American citizen. And it can't be because he's unrefined or he's ghetto. Because if that was the case, Kid Rock wouldn't have been the alternative. Kid Rock is something that he's not. And we all saw the president's post indicating how horrible the Super Bowl was. Why do you think that was? So this was right after the president posted a video of a former black president depicted as a monkey. Discontent is encouraged at every level and empowered by Donald Trump's administration. Coming back to the beginning of this, you want to know why I'm picking on Trump? All of these things are the reason why. But if you're going to enforce rules, be consistent, all right? If you're going to enforce rules for deportation, do it across the board. Be consistent with it. Why haven't we seen any sort of recognition of the justice system for Renee Good and Alex Priddy? But what has been suggested and what is happening right now is that he'll never go to court. There's some suggestion that they have immunity. These guys I don't know what qualifications they have to do ICE, but their interview process, that's been in the news lately, it doesn't seem to be super thorough. So I don't really know what qualifications he has, but I hope that's something that would come out in court. All right, so if you're going to deport 30 million immigrants, how this is being done is important. So another consideration is the repercussions that flow from this. All right, if we're going to have a reasoned conversation, let's just say we get rid of all the immigrants right now. One, there's an economic consequence, right? They make up a large part of a consumer base in their respective cities. All right, these people prop up and show patronage to a lot of businesses that are an important part of the economy. Let's be clear as well. A lot of these people do pay taxes. I know because I used to run a restaurant, right? And what I understood later on was that a lot of these kids were showing up with fake Social Security cards, which E-Verify kind of later eliminated a lot of that. But these kids were paying into the Social Security. So they were paying taxes, one, because they had to, because that's part of their W-2 paycheck at the restaurant. But they were also, as part of their W-2 employment, paying into the Social Security system, right? They're never coming back for that money because they can't, because they're not citizens. They can't apply for it, right? They contribute a lot of money that they're not coming back for, and the government just spends that. And we know we spend it because the national deficit wouldn't be over $30 trillion right now, all right? The third point is wildly important. Who's going to do these jobs? When we have farmers that can no longer hire migrant workers and now have to hire Americans that are 4 times as expensive and work half as hard, the obvious consequence is that prices go up. Maybe some farmers go out of business and prices go up. So, fine. If we accept all that, they broke the law, get rid of it. All right, get rid of them. All right, this brings up a broader issue, circling back to where I landed yesterday, is what is America? I asked this in the last video. America's a melting pot. All right, we talked about the Revolutionary War, and it was a bunch of immigrants. That's all we are. Immigrants were who founded the U.S. They pushed back, they won, they founded the U.S., and that's all we are. We're a melting pot of people that wanted rights. I think that we did our absolute best to make the kind of future that we wanted. And the way we did that was through the Constitution. And the only way that continues to work is if we continue to uphold, at minimum, the Bill of Rights. I know that some of you can see the effects here. If you don't see this, it means to me you're not paying attention to the broader effect, the macro effect of the administration. You have power as president to influence and steer at a very high level how people feel about each other, how people act, and you set the tone for America in a lot of ways. That this isn't, I'm getting beyond fact here, but this is a power that you have. Additionally, you have nuclear launch codes. You have executive powers to do a whole lot of things. You could declare war for 90 days. There's a lot of things that you have a lot of power that I don't think are rightly in the right administration's hands right now. It's concerning. So I hope that addresses some of the messages and the concerns that I got yesterday. I hope a lot of this makes sense. And if you guys are so up to it, send me some more messages back. Let's talk. Let's continue to talk about this stuff. Because I would like to be on the right side of history. And I sincerely hope that you guys can too. All right.